People's careers can't be copied and pasted, that it can support your journey, but it can't be you. So authenticity is about you, and AI is there just to enhance what you do, or just polish it up a little bit, but not be you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Pioneers Pathway podcast, where you're joined by your two favorite co-hosts, me, Shara, and my good friend, Mr. Liam Villani. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Sharia? How's everything been going?
Yeah, all well, Liam. All well, Liam. So, Liam, on this podcast, we've spoken a lot about, the power of AI, the wonders, but, there's also a few problems associated with it, isn't it? I mean, we tend to sound a bit more robotic, don't we?
There's with anything, and especially sort of in the digital realm, when things happen, they happen in a big way, and we're sort of very unprepared for it, and it's sort of then having to play catch up after these amazing things have come onto the scene, right? And I think this is one thing that we're having to play catch up on, and how we sort of learn to live with it.
And it's great that we have a guest with us who can tell us all about it. So, welcome, Kiki. How are you doing?
Oh, hi both. Lovely to meet you again. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. And thank you, firstly, for having me here. And I am quite interested in talking about AI. It's one of the things that we've been working on for such a long time with surgeons, with prosthetics, and it's great to see it like kind of move into the area of content marketing, and then how people are using it every day. So, yeah, thank you for having me on.
So, Kiki, can you sort of give our listeners a brief back what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I run New Media Ghost, and a very small team. We were quite large at one point. Narrowed it down. The small team now. We build websites, we build content, and we work with a lot of different larger companies as well as some small ones in helping them use the latest digital products. And of course, AI has come on board. So we jumped on that back about 3 years ago, or maybe 4 years ago, and then I just worked my way through on how this is impacting businesses and how we can help them get found in search engines through what was the old SEO, which still exists, by the way, but the new GEO and AEO, which is generative engine optimization.
Could you just maybe start well, fast for go backwards a bit in terms of how you got into this field? How did you really start off this career in this area? And sort of, was this something you always wanted to do, or was this something that you kind of stumbled upon as your career developed?
So, because I worked with surgeons quite a bit, building their personal brand and their profiles, it kind of took a natural step into helping businesses. And wasn't just surgeons; they were just one of three big sectors that I worked with. And because it was building their personal brand profiles, it kind of just turned into helping them strategize in marketing, which I've done for many years, on their own businesses. So, for example, I worked with, well, I still do, a couple of cybersecurity companies. And instead of just working with the leaders, it was about building their marketing. And then from then, as technology progressed, so not just about personal brands, but building their websites and then building, which, I've had vast amounts of experience in from working in corporate myself many years back. It was just about building on the marketing strategy for their businesses or for the companies. And then from that, as technology expanded, it meant, oh, well, instead of using search engine optimization the way we do or did back then, things are growing in this field. So the more content we were writing, we were finding, hold on, people are searching a lot differently. And so it kind of happened from just it was like a roller coaster of you start somewhere and then you just move along instead of staying stagnant. And I think that's really important, especially today and with all this AI, is to make sure that we keep moving as things are progressing.
So, I mean, establish sort of the way technology has progressed, the increased use in AI. But that's meant that we sound a bit more robotic, we're less authentic in a way. So, why is authenticity so important, and why is it so critical in our world today?
So I think so I think one of the biggest things is right now being a business owner and also helping my clients increase their business messages and getting out to, especially for recruitment and especially new founders who I talk a lot with. I'm finding, or what I'm seeing, is that everybody's using AI. Don't get me wrong, we love AI and we use it here at New Media Ghost on a day-to-day basis. The tech is absolutely incredible, and when we're using it to make processes faster, better, and of course smarter. But the truth is, people's careers can't be copied and pasted. That it can support your journey, but it can't be you. So authenticity is about you, and AI is there just to enhance what you do, or just polish it up a little bit, but not be you.
So in terms of businesses that you focus on, because different businesses use AI in different ways, and different businesses have different like customer consumer sets and segments who they're focusing on. Is there any sort of specific industries that you focus on specifically, or you see there is a really growing need for more authenticity in their marketing and use of AI?
I think so. Yes, there are specific industries that we were focusing on, but I don't know whether you've seen lately. But I think I posted on LinkedIn a few times. But I've been involved just in AI and how people are using it and how they can practically use it. So authenticity is about the person rather than about the business. So if someone's applying for work, or if they are a new startup founder, for example, being themselves, no matter who they're in front of, is so important today, because what I'm seeing for myself and for my clients is CVs are coming in, for example, which I chatted with Sharia about. CVs are coming in and they all look the same. They're all reading the same thing. They're all using the same language. But what about your language? What about the way you are? What about, I might not use the word, for example, one of the usual ones is tailored, which is all throughout AI, as people are using ChatGPT and Perplexity and whatnot. I may not use that language personally, but these LLMs are throwing out these words, and they're on everybody's CV. Every single CV is starting to look the same, instead of somebody saying, well, no, actually, this is me. This is my authentic self. This is what I do, and this is how I want to come across. This is my personal brand. This is who I am. So rather than it being business, so rather than it being the business that you should be working at, you should be really looking at yourself, that you don't come across as someone else when you're applying for a job, or whether you're a founder somewhere. So you're not the same founder as everyone, as every other founder is trying to come across as. Be you.
Like we've established. It seems quite clear that AI can sort of polish your CV, but it can't really project your personal story. So how can you sort of strike that balance where you are using these AI tools to help you, yet you're bringing your story across?
So I think it's really important that, so what we do is, when, for example, content marketing, and that's the same thing because you're writing about yourself. When you're writing, is you write like you would naturally write. And then what I say to, our guys is, or what we do is, we go in and then we'll say, can you have a look at this in the brand and tone of that company? So, for example, my brand and tone, my personal brand and tone has been come across professional, hopefully, friendly, but also, I give information quite eagerly because I want people to learn and get the best out of themselves. So when I say, if I'm going to write a post or something about myself, I'll still write it as if I'm writing it. And then what I can do, which sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, is process it into AI and say, can you have a look at this? This is what I'm saying. Is there anything that you can, that you can pick out that might be better, but in my brand and tone, which is, and then I tell them what my brand and tone is.
So, one more sort of follow-up question, because obviously you are an employer, and you mentioned there are certain keywords that you do see popping up. But are there sort of any other ways that other employers can see if something's AI generated, or something maybe potential employees can see, and certain words they can avoid using just to sound as authentic as they can?
I think it's better not to use the AI jargon. So what I'm trying to say here is, it's best to write your own story, write your own CV, so your founder story, write your own CV, and then keeping that same authenticity, that same brand, that same message, that same point, is then say to AI, is there anything that I'm missing from here? And let AI do the work. But it doesn't mean that you copy and paste exactly what AI is saying. You still keep your original, authentic self. And maybe AI, for example, might say, you know, add in this because we know from your CV you've done this, or as a founder, add in this because we know from your experience and skill set that you've left this out. So it's not about getting AI to rewrite what you're writing, but it's about using AI to showcase what you're good at that you might have missed out on.
Question?
No, was there, were you gonna, was there a follow-up question you had?
No, no,
I,
I thought you were looking very eager there to ask something.
I think there was quite a lot to digest there, a lot of a lot of different points really. But I think if it's okay, just to go back to one of the points you said about or going back to sort of AI in recruitment. Do you think there's any way of getting back to do you think AI is sort of a trend which will stay there? And do you think because I feel like everyone just is, oh, we want to use AI, oh, let's use it in recruitment, let's use it for recruiters to sift out people, but also for people candidates to apply for. But before that, it was there was a lot more face-to-face work. There was a lot more about what you've done in your actual career, your examples of projects and things you've worked on. Do you think that's all redundant now, and it's all sort of that one CV and then a computer just analyzing it, right?
Yeah. So to get this question right, are you asking me whether recruiters are using AI to check whether your CV is from AI? Is that right?
I think it's more about do you think AI is making the recruitment process obviously a lot more simplified, but also just focused on what you present to them in an application pack, and not about the work you've done in the past and your past experience up till now.
I think what's really important is that, yes, I think recruiters are using AI. I might be wrong here, but from where I've been and from what I can see, so they're looking at whether it is AI driven. So recently I was at an event and talking to a couple of recruiters there, and they mentioned, I think they're going to join your podcast as well. So they mentioned how they're seeing reams and reams of the same CV, which is exactly what my point was, and it looks no different. So let's look at, say, 5 graduates that have, the 5 same degrees, and when you look at their CV, the only difference is the name at the top, perhaps the date of birth if they write it in, and then maybe their opening gambit, but even that is AI driven. So recruiters can see that this is happening, and that's not just recruitment companies, but that's also employers and direct recruiters for in-house companies that can see this. So I think what is happening is, so I think using AI is not cheating, but we must misuse it. And I think AI is here forever. It's just like when we had the internet, it started off slow and then it just took off. I think we should use it, but what we should do is let our brain still do the work and just enhance what we're doing by finding those missing pieces. So I don't think that, going back to your original question, I don't think that AI will help you get a job, but I think the more authentic you come across and the more that you can showcase of your own work and of your own experiences, I think that story is really important when you're talking to recruiters, because all of a sudden, whether it's in-house, out-house, whatever it is, they're not seeing the same CV, and you need to come out so special. You need, now that everybody is using AI, to say, hey, look at me. So I'll give you an example. Somebody who'd applied for a job, and I can't remember, he was on one of the LinkedIn posts going back a few weeks ago or a few months ago. He applied for several jobs in in his sector, and he wasn't getting any responses. Or if you get responses, be like, "Oh yeah, we've got your CV, we'll be in touch, or we got your letter." So what he did was he printed out his CVs like we used to do in the olden days, and he went to the receptionist in each of the jobs, bought cupcakes in box of five, and put his CV and the cupcakes out there. And do you know what? That's memorable. That's him. That's his authentic self. He said he had so many responses. He was like, right, what do I do next? Because I've gone out and I've done something totally different, but actually it's not different. It's what we used to do back then. Okay, not with the cupcakes, but we used to go out and we used to give CVs. So be different. I mean,
It's
I'm not saying everybody can do that. I'm saying look at what your authentic self is. What would you do? And go and do something different.
so is that more about developing that personal brand and developing a brand external from just a sheet of paper with your CV? It's showing who you are. And obviously, I know you used the example of the cupcakes, which was actually really sweet of them to do that, and I'm sure went down
Literally sweet.
literally sweet, but also
Yes.
goes down very well. They know that people have those sugar cravings at
Yes.
4 p.m. on a work day. No, I wanted to ask how AI can be used to develop that personal brand. Because obviously, and we've spoken about AI for CVs, maybe for personal statements, maybe application emails, things like that. Are there any other ways in which you can use AI to develop a personal brand that will help make you more recruitable in the long run? Things that people can probably start doing even before they're looking for jobs, but just to really improve their image, improve their employability skills, and make them more approachable for jobs.
So I look at a few things. So for us, I should practice more of what I preach because I don't get out there on social media much. But also remember that social media is so noisy right now. So it's not just about let's post every day and get something out. Don't do that. Please don't do that, because eventually the people that are interested in you are just going to be like, this is just a load of noise. So own your narrative, own your own story. So before you even get out there, be clear on what you stand for and what problems you're solving. Remember, authenticity builds trust. So what problems are you going to solve? So I'll give you an example. I'm a psychology grad who translates human behavior into friendly app designs, for example. So whether for a CV pitch, but that clarity stands out what they're doing. So that message is saying, I'm going to fill a need for that for that company or for that person who's going to employ me, and this is what I do. Stay consistent online. So like I said, like align your CV, your LinkedIn, and any digital profiles actually with that one message that means you. So if for example, if you're passionate about sustainability, your LinkedIn posts or a project that you've worked on should reflect that. Not leave gaps. One minute you're interested in sustainability, next minute you're interested. I'm not saying don't have a varied interest. Have a varied interest, but also be consistent with it. Be consistent the way you're coming across and the type of jobs that you are looking for. Does it fill the pain point? Am I consistent? And am I telling that true, authentic self story? I think show. Don't just tell. Use real life examples, projects or posts that demonstrate your skills and values. So things like, we all see it. I'm a team player. Well, what? What are you a team player of? So, for example, if you put something like, I led a uni society project that grew membership by 30%, or for founders, for example, a link to your minimal viable product or prototype, you're actually showcasing what you're good at. You're not just telling the story. I think again, use AI to polish, not pretend. Let your chat GPT help reword your cover letter as you for clarity, but don't overinflate your experience or lose the tone. And I think the most important part, which we all do, is engage in your space. So, use other people's comment sections, post and share, and the content in your own field. So again, if we go back to sustainability, all the people out there to do with sustainability, it shows you're active, you're relevant, you're credible. Comment on posts from people in your industry or share lessons from a uni project. This just like sparks curiosity and it builds visibility and trust in you. Remember, like your personal brand is your reputation. So AI can't help refine it, but it's your story that makes it memorable. So tell your story.
And with all of this, there are plenty of ways which AI can help and also hinder, right? It's about getting that balance between both.
Yeah, absolutely. So AI can hinder because, as we mentioned earlier, it's all the same wording. Recruiters are getting CVs that all look exactly the same. So be yourself, and it can help because if you don't use just copy and paste across to AI, and you're using your brain and you're using your own personal brand, your own voice, then that's going to come across as authentic and you're going to be trusted. You're going to be trusted that, oh, say if AI or the computer goes down, can Kiki go and do the content writing on her own, or does she still need AI?
Yeah.
Remember, the employer is thinking, how good is she without the machine? Tell them that story, that you're plenty good at what you do.
Going back to a slightly sort of earlier point, where obviously you mentioned that recruiters tend to see basically the same CV with a different name. Do you think there's this sort of battle from the student side and the recruiters themselves, i.e., basically the students, when they know that a company is using sort of the recruitment software, do you think they're sort of using AI to battle that, to try and get past that screening test of the AI?
I'm not too sure if they are doing that. What I do understand from speaking to recruiters is that now the recruitment machines are using, and again, I don't advocate this, by the way. The recruitment machines are using specific keywords. So if you apply for a job and they've got specific keywords in there, so if they've got something like, they're looking for a content marketer or a tech stack developer, what they're doing is, instead of reading through the CV completely, they're inserting it into the system, and the system is picking out X amount matched. So I think, again, it's not all recruiters that are doing this. So I think it's really important to find that balance as a person, that yes, you are hitting the mark, but then you would do that anyway without AI. So if you're applying for a job, you're not going to say, oh yeah, I've been a sales assistant in, a Tesco, for example. When you're applying for a tech developer job, what you would say is, I've been a sales assistant, and what I learned from this is how to transfer these skills when I'm going to be, working as a tech developer, or with the experience I've had in university that matches the tech development side. But I'm still resilient because I speak to people on a one-to-one basis through my Tesco experience. So you're blending both your experience, perhaps your future job, what you're applying for, or perhaps something that you might think, oh yeah, I've got this experience, but I just don't know how to get it out there. Marry them up, tell your story.
So
I
essentially, okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
So essentially, the right candidate will be doing the right things in the first place, if I've sort of understood it correctly. So they'll naturally get past sort of the AI screen.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand what you meant then. Could you say
Okay.
that again?
So no. So my takeaway from that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you are sort of the perfect candidate, you'll be doing the right things anyway. You'll sort of have the right things mentioned on your CV. So getting past that AI screener shouldn't be much of an issue anyway.
No, because that's what you're applying for, or you might want to aspire to. Remember, if you want to aspire to being a content marketer, I'll take this one because we do this a lot here. So, if you want to aspire to being a content marketer, but you don't have that skill set, you can still showcase what you've done at university, or where you've founded a company, or where you might not have founded a company, but you've worked elsewhere. You can still showcase and say things like in your CV. So the recruiter's looking for a content marketer, so you could still put in there, with regards to content marketing, I've done this, which I believe, can fulfill this role. So you can still use your experiences to get through that recruitment AI system, if you can showcase it properly.
Just moving on a bit further away from sort of the recruitment process into full-time careers, how do you? I'd be interested to know your opinion of where you think AI will stand in sort of in careers in the job place and in sort of in the work environment. Do you think people these days are suited for an AI driven career, a career where AI is everywhere? And what are the key skills that recruiters are looking for when they want to employ people where AI is going to be used?
I don't know the latter to your answer, so I don't know what recruiters are looking for. because I'm not in that industry, with regards to AI, with the former, with regards to whether there's space out there and whether people will be, whether there are AI careers, absolutely yes. So in the space that we're in right now, we're currently building an app to help our clients to roll out, and it's in beta stage already, to roll out to get into things like LLMs, because there's like 27, I mean, there's probably more now, this is going back a few weeks ago, but 27% of people, the population was using LLMs to search instead of using Google. And all of a sudden, Google's seen a dip in what they're doing. And they're like, whoa, hold on, something's going on here. So yes, I think AI is growing exponentially really fast. And if you've got something that you think, I'm going to bring it to the table, start bringing it now and start refining it as quick as possible. So yes, there is definitely going to be there is an AI world already out there that has progressed so quickly. Somebody else that I work alongside, she's worked in crypto and that area, and she's asking questions through different forums, and already AI is picking that up and building these things. So one minute she's asking the question, within days, weeks, we're seeing it happen. So somewhere along the lines, there are scrapers out there for these LLMs, and they're pulling in information. So yes, there is definitely going to be there is definitely a world of AI out there that people need to jump on and start working with. Yes.
Yeah.
I obviously like
Sorry, sorry,
go
Sherry,
for
can
it,
I
go
just
for it, go for it.
ask a follow-up question on that part? Sorry, there's so much we can ask. And so much.
It's all right.
I know you said with the latter that you're not specifically in the industry, but knowing sort of what artificial intelligence is like and sort of the key skill sets that are required to tackle these areas, do you have any sort of personal things that you would look for if you were recruiting in your team and using artificial intelligence, forgetting maybe what big companies and corporates are doing, but from your experience and also your business experience, your career in general, what you would be looking at if you want those kind of to attract those kind of people?
So, everybody talks about the M dash. We all know what that is. It's AI built. It all comes in. Before it was just a dash, a comma, or a colon of some sort. But all of a sudden, everything that we're getting. So even when I'm getting CVs through email now, it's all with this M dash. What I am seeing is people are lazy. So they're sending emails out left, right, and centre with their CV attached, maybe not with their CV attached, and saying, I can do this, 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 this. You're not telling me, you're not showcasing why I should read beyond your first paragraph, because your first paragraph looks like everyone else's first paragraph that I'm getting. Those M dashes are a double giveaway, but also, the wording that we talked about, navigate, tailored, all these same words are being used across everyone's CV. So as an employer who recruits people, I look at these things and go, I don't waste my time. If you haven't got time to look after yourself, build yourself, to tell me your true self and your true story, then basically that means you have disregard for my time, because you're just saying, oh, I'm going to copy and paste that and send it out. I'm not interested. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people are seeing this now as employers are recruiting, they're saying, well, if you can't be bothered, then you're taking my space, and I don't need you to take my space.
So I think what we're saying is basically AI is a tool. AI is sort of is a personal assistant, if you can call it that way. But it's not someone who you should let run your life and you just go and sit at home and do nothing. It's not that. It's a tool to help, but not take over your life.
I love that, Liam. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Absolutely, yes. I wish I'd said it as well as you did then. Yes, it's not here to take over our lives. Um, who knows what happens in the future? But remember, it's people. There are some out there. Well, I mean, you must have come across them, who are concerned that the jobs are going to go and whatnot. And let's not kid ourselves. There are going to be some jobs that go. So do you want to be the person where your job goes, or do you want to learn more about AI and how to enhance it to upskill in your work? Or are you going to be, like I said, the other person where you just go, oh, well, my job's going to go, so I might as well just give in now and just copy and paste everything.
Great. Before we sort of end, we basically, me and Liam, we tend to do sort of a rapid fire section. So we're going to ask you a few short questions and, just, get your sort of thoughts on those. So first question is, if you could invite any entrepreneurs to your house, or in fact any people to your house, any 3 people, who would it be and why?
So 3, gosh, that's a lot of people. So I think the first person I would probably invite is probably someone like a prime minister, not the UK prime minister right now, but just to see how things in the background work. I'd also like to invite the latest appointment, the CEO of MI5, MI6, because she's a female. And I think she probably has a lot of knowledge in how people in what we do and how we do it. And I probably I mean, the third one's a bit hard. My dad passed away some time ago, but when I was younger, and I think if I could, I'd invite him because he had lots of business acumen, and I think I'd like to learn from him what I didn't learn. So I think I think those 3 people are, yeah, I'd invite them for those reasons.
Any favorite entrepreneurial book to read?
Oh gosh, so I have the Surrender Experiment. So it's at the top because I keep rereading it, and that one is by Michael A. Singer, and it's basically how working and your spiritual self work close hand in hand. This one, the E-Myth Revisited, this is by Michael Gerber, and I think it says why most small businesses don't work and what to do about it. I think that's really big. And then I do have a third one, and I can't. Oh, there we go. So I like running. I don't know if you've noticed all these medals, but I like running. And Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Now, this is not just about running, but because I like running, it kind of translates in what I do. But also it's a really good look into how Nike started and the pitfalls and what he went through to get Nike up and running, and how this little tiny tick, again, being authentic, your authentic self, this tiny little tick turned into this massive brand.
Last question. Whilst we didn't touch on this today, you are obviously a digital marketing expert. What's your favorite SEO tool, and maybe one that's free and you'd potentially recommend?
So Ahrefs, you can get the free version of that, but I think there is a lot of paid onto it. But actually, my favourite SEO tool is a bit of a plug, so sorry guys, Liam, show you. It's because SEO's moved on. We are right now just about to launch over the next, I'm hoping, few weeks. We're with developers right now, but how to get your business on searches without paying advertising. So I think that's going to be a real change in the way AI is being used, and how quickly you can get your business or your content out without having to do lots and lots of work by using all the current tools. Sorry.
And if there's viewers who are interested in knowing a bit more about that, where can they find out about the updates and information?
Yeah, so we haven't set up anything yet, but actually, I think there's a newsletter page on. Not I think there is a newsletter page, or follow up on the contact form on newmediaghost.com, and just put that they're interested in being added to the wait list. And we haven't started up the wait list, which is one of many things that we have to do. Hey, we need AI to do it for us.
But there they'll be able to find all the information and
Yeah, so if they look at zeroclickauthority.com, so a partner and I work on that, which is a subsidiary of New Media Ghost. On Zero Click Authority, that kind of, it's just a shaper to show that this is what's happening right now. This is what's going on with answer engine optimization, with generative engine optimization, and with AI overviews. And it's basically, we're building an app to so people just do it at a click of a button rather than having to regurgitate everything to get themselves online for free rather than paid advertising.
Nice. Good stuff.
Great, Kiki. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. If our guests and viewers want to hear, a little bit more about you, a little bit more about your work, obviously they can reach out to you on New Media Goes. But is there any other way, if you want our listeners to reach out to you?
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn, so definitely find me on LinkedIn. So it's Kiki Choda. I don't know why Kiki came up, probably the way it's spelled it, but KIKICHODA. So connect with me on LinkedIn, and of course when this goes, when we're doing more of this, we'll start posting more out. So definitely, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm always interested in talking to people, so learning about people and learning about how things are going on in people's lives right now.
Great, Kiki. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you both. It's been a pleasure meeting you both again. So thank you very much for your space and for your time, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.